Numbers Game Week 5 TNF Primer, a quick preview of Bucks at Falcons, and a few fun extras. Remember, breakdowns for every game after TNF come out shortly. I'm aiming for no later than Thursday midday this week. As always, thank you for coming to hang out, for the comments and interactions, and for helping to make this more fun, helpful, and informative. Bottom line, making it better every single episode. It means a lot to me that you're choosing to spend some of your time and energy with me. Last week, my model went 10, 10, and 8. 10 of 16 straight up, 10 against the spread, and 8 of 16 on totals. Just so you know, 10 is my personal cutoff for feeling okay, which is 62.5% when there are 16 games. It is also extremely hard to sustain. Overall, my season is tracking at 57.8% straight up, 49.2% against the spread, and totals are 53.1%. My two biggest mistakes this week: one, I didn't have enough weight on a plus Vita Vea playing for Tampa versus the minus of Lane Johnson, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith all being out. And by the way, I even brought up in this game preview how important Vita Vea is. I also didn't properly value the minus for the Bills defense against Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and the rush attack of the Ravens, especially given all of their injuries and backup players. My estimates were wrong in their ability to handle heavy personnel. And also on the other side, the Ravens bucked both man and blitz trends that Josh Allen and the Bills had been displaying early this season. I was told I need to say something I'm proud of here because I'm pretty hard on myself. So I'll just go with pointing out the 4 games that I got all 3 elements right, straight up against the spread and the total. That was Chicago over the Rams, Minnesota over Green Bay, San Francisco over New England, and Tennessee over Miami. Okay, on to TNF. I'm aiming for 10 plus again this week, despite 4 teams being on a bye, so that means really dialing in. On a very serious and important note, Hurricane Helene was so destructive and horrifying for so many people. I know there are a lot of ways to help, and one the NFL is affiliated with is the Red Cross. If you want to put other sanctioned charities or ideas in the comments, maybe we can all share ways to pitch in, because I want this to be a community where we help each other with the things that actually matter while having fun playing against each other via the game that brings us so much happiness. The good news is we get to start the week with the entertainment and joy that is the Bucks at Falcons. Starting with Tampa's offense. Last week against the Eagles, we saw Baker Mayfield get rid of the ball quickly. His average time to throw was just 2.22 seconds, which was the second fastest of his career. Overall, he was 30 of 47 for 347 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zooming in on just passes where he threw in under 2.5 seconds, he was 22 of 32 for 219 and 1 of those touchdowns. With his right tackle Luke Gadecki out, that certainly played into the strategy, but I highlight the fact that it was nearly a career fastest time to throw to show that we are now fully in the Liam Cohen regime, and he and Baker are in lockstep with adaptive plans for each defense they face, which is important in this one as Atlanta's defense is coming off a game where they generated a season-high pressure rate of 28.9% and blitzed at a 50% clip, which is their highest in about a calendar year. 10 different Falcon defenders earned at least 1 pressure, and overall, this was a big uptick from their only 20% pressure rate in weeks 1 through 3, aka they too are improving and adapting, but they still only have 4 sacks this season, which ranks 32nd. Speaking of blitzing and pressure, Kirk Cousins' blitz and non-blitz splits were in pretty stark contrast against the Saints. 208 of his 238 yards were accumulated against no blitz, and he averaged 2.7 yards per pass attempt when being blitzed versus 8.7 when the Saints defense brought 4 or fewer pass rushers. As of right now, Bijan Robinson has been listed as limited in practice, so all of my assumptions have been made with him playing, but I used 80% as his production level, which does impact the potential effectiveness in the run game, that's obvious, but it also changes blitzing and pressure situations as well. If you want to sound like you know football, all you have to say is, Todd Bowles' defenses, they're known for stopping the run and blitzing, am I right? It works, though, because it does happen to be true over the course of his career. And also so far this season, he's dialed up the blitz at the 4th highest rate, 37.5%. Tampa only has 8 total sacks, but 6 have come when blitzing. And by the way, they're coming off a game against the Eagles where they notched 6 of those 8 sacks and overall had a 48.4 pressure rate. That's their second highest in a game since 2021. Bottom line, I think the Falcons' offense scores points this week, but Tampa Bay scores just 1 point more. Final score, Bucks win 24-23. I also have this game with at least 44 total points in 54% of simulations. Since the Falcons are favored by 1.5 points, there's some fun to be had here. My one-sentence stat to tell your friends is that the Bucs are tied for the fourth most quick quarterback pressures, with 31 coming in under 2.5 seconds, which is a bad matchup for Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. Also, Atlanta's offense is tracking at 29th on third down and 28th in the red area, scoring on just 4 of 10 trips to the red zone. Old school coaches tend to talk about those two stats, third down and red area, a lot, which I bring up because I really love the presser video of Raheem Morris saying stats are for losers this past week when he was answering questions about the offense when the defense and special team accounted for all of his team's points in the win against the Saints 26-24. I think what he meant to say is that stats without context or maybe cherry picking stats are definitely for losers because I know he listens to this show and he doesn't think we're losers at all. It's all in good fun no matter what, so we need at least one more fun thing. How about 3 player notes for TNF, where I blend 2 of the things my model has occurring in over 55% of simulations and one that happens in at least 48%. This is where you can get some value. 2 less risky ones first. Here we go. Number 1, Chris Godwin to earn at least 67 receiving yards. Easy. Number 2, Bucky Irving to rush for more than 41 yards. I have him at that 55% threshold at 46 yards. Fun fact here, the Falcons are tied for the most rushing first downs allowed. They're tied with the Rams and Cowboys. Here's the risk to add to the mix. A Kyle Pitts touchdown. He has 3 red zone targets, which are tied for the team high. These blends are kind of my favorite, so how about one more? I'm going to dial up a little bit more heat here by changing the setting to 53% for the safer parts, but keeping 48% as the spicy addition. 2 safe ones first. 1, Levante David forecast for at least a half a sack. He's coming off his 4th career game with at least 2 sacks. He plays on the left side, and even though he's mostly on the inside, Atlanta's right tackle Caleb McGarry didn't play last week with a knee injury, so this matchup could favor David. Number 2, Mike Evans to catch at least 5 passes. And the spicy addition, Baker Mayfield's deepest completion to be less than 35 yards. This is spicy because when I close my eyes, I feel like I see a deep ball to Mike Evans. However, Atlanta has only allowed 2 20-plus air yard completions, which is tied for 3rd fewest. And the other sneak part is that they're very good at limiting yak, which is the other way this could get blown up. They have the 2nd best yards after the catch over expected per reception at 0. 2 other spicy nuggets I considered were, number 1, K-Dot to catch more than 3 passes, and number 2, a Bucky Irving touchdown, especially if the Falcons linebacker Troy Anderson, who is the team's leading tackler, is unable to play. Feel free to mix and match the spicy and non-spicy nuggets as you see fit for your own recipe. I'll see you back here for the full episode in a day or so. All of my numbers will be up for you to use as you wish on Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out, and if you like the show, please pass it along so we can continue to grow.